Oh, yeah.
This is about a song that they wrote when they were high and they couldn't remember what it was.
Yep.
So they wrote the song, the greatest song in the world. That's what
This is just a tribute.
Yeah.
You've got to believe.
So what I'm doing now is reenacting something that just happened before I turned this on.
This is the tribute.
But it's just a tribute to what it was. I don't even remember the context. It doesn't matter.
It's full. You should drink some.
Oh, it's hot.
This isn't awkward at all, actually.
Yeah.
Just ram it in there when it squirts everywhere. Huh.
Oh!
She's a squirter! What's that from?
I don't...
It's a squirter!
I know it's...
It's something comedy based.
I remember, like, we got a bleeder. That was something about Mary, wasn't it?
There's something about Mary with Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
How'd you get the beans above the Frank? Because he zips his shit up. I think he was masturbating.
Where is this? Where's the thing I'm looking for? Lock. Is it this? Is it this? I think it's this one. There it is. There we go. There we go.
Are you playing Candy Crush over there or something?
I gotta save my progress.
That's it. There it is.
Yeah. I had to save my progress. I don't want to start all over. You know what it's like to play a game for a long time and then you exit out and lose all your progress and have to do it all over again? Of course you do. You're a gamer. Every gamer knows what that's like. Every single one. You know what? I could probably trump just about all of yours.
What?
Because I had to start over with my PlayStation 3 when I got the PS4. And the entire everything I did on PS3.
Oh, that's right. Because of your profile login, you lost it.
And I had to start a whole different...
I still have JQ4U.
So do I.
And I have JQ4U Part 2 as a friend. I still have them both as friends.
Yeah.
Last time JQ4U was on was over 3 years ago?
Over a year ago.
Yeah, over a year ago.
That's what it said. Over a year ago. It's like, I think it's been like fucking 9 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. Holy shit, it's been a whole system now because we're into the 5.
5. And you know they already started on 6. And that's probably when GTA 6 will come out.
6 for 6.
That's right. Why not?
I don't blame him. Not a bad idea.
It's like, all right. PS3, GTA 5. That means we'll ride this one out until PS5. And then when PS6 comes out, we'll release GTA San Andreas
5
Stories.
plus. 5 plus 1.
We'll drop a T-shirt that says GTA 6 in it in GTA 5.
It's GTA 5 plus 1, spelled W-O-N.
Plus. You have to pardon my stash. It got me in free rides.
Who wants a mustache ride?
That's the first thing
I bought one.
That's the first thing I thought of too. And the carny was like, "You can just get on for free just because of your stash." I'm like, who wants a mustache?
What carny?
The one in Fort Plain.
You can get off because of your stash. I want to go for a ride. Who do you love?
You ever ride? You ever ride those rides and the whole time you're on them, you're just like, man, every creak and every like crack and shift, you're like, man, I don't know if I trust these.
I trust those rides more than I trust shaking hands with some of the people that work them.
I don't know.
Shake my hand. You get on the ride for free. I'll pay the money. What?
I don't know. But every time I see those rides,
I used to call that the Plain Breed Fest.
I mean,
because in 9 months, I'm sure there'll be plenty of kids without fathers or kids without mothers.
They'll be back around a year. Yeah. That's a 3-month birthday. Happy birthday, little old no name. I'll see you next year. Oh God, is that mine? It's the same snaggletooth and one curly hair. It's like, I think it can't be mine.
So what? We left him. He's doing fine. Look at him.
Oh, jeez. So, I got to get my bearings here because I was half asleep when he showed up. So now I'm like,
Yeah, it was a little weird.
yeah.
Tried laying down and neither of them woke up.
The exact way I woke up was there's a scene in Metalocalypse where Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown, was sitting right next to me with his hand conveniently sliding in my pocket. I do cocaine. So that's how I woke up.
Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll.
Yeah. So that's
Oh, it's out of tune. Oh, he popped the string.
that's how I woke up.
Yeah, I gotta watch that show again.
Yeah. Did I send you? I think I sent you that clip.
Yeah. Oh, we've
On one
over
of
the
my-
years we have sent plenty of Roxo
Did
clowns.
I think I told you that I think I told you that I started a new TikTok with all our commentaries on the wrestling commentaries.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned it. I
think
remember.
I can't remember. I started that like a week ago. Did we have a show a week ago? I don't remember. Did we?
Yeah, we did a show
I
last week.
can't remember. I just woke up. Yesterday never happened.
The roofies are still wearing off. Ticket in, wearing off, take a pic.
You know what did happen though? 9/11 today.
Yeah, 22 years ago.
That's right. That's right. 22 years ago.
It's sad that I don't know, maybe it's the way I didn't say anything. I just kind of, it was one of those, I was walking to do my job, and I heard somebody I overheard somebody discussing it, and it was kind of one of those, as you're walking, like, you keep walking, one of those pause in place things.
Orion, what the fuck was that thing back in the 90s? The Nordic track?
Yeah.
Is that what you were on?
No. I was trying to mimic walking. for
Tony
fuck's sake.
Gazelle. Yeah, baby.
So, as I was walking by, they were talking about, today's 9/11, and the celebration of the events that happened. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't. Maybe I heard. I don't know if I'm becoming woke, and it's a trick.
Celebration?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I understand. I'm assuming anyway. I understand what they were talking about. But
Celebrate the anniversary of
it's
of the tragic day.
Right.
But
Well, even that in and of itself.
Yeah,
In order to
just-
celebrate the anniversary.
there's really no proper way to use the word celebration with that.
No, I think you're woke.
Well, I don't know if it was because it didn't offend me.
No, but it does make you go like,
Yeah, it was one of those.
oh,
Like, for
All
a
right.
prime example, what's the VIN on a vehicle?
what do you mean?
What's the VIN? What does VIN stand for?
Vehicle identification number?
Okay, so if somebody says to you, "Hey, go get me the VIN number," yeah, it was one of those moments where it was like,
Give me the vehicle identification number. It's like, did you stutter or was there an echo?
it was one of those moments where it's like,
Yes.
and I couldn't think. I had to think about it. I had to process. I was like, was it what they said that caught me off guard, or how they said it?
All right.
I think it's how they said it, not what they said. I understand in the context, like, especially with my heritage, my ethnic heritage, you don't mourn somebody's death; you celebrate their life.
Right.
So I get it, but that's just the way they said it. I was like, keep walking.
Off topic. Speaking of heritage, would you be willing? All right. What is your ethnicity? First off.
Spanish and Italian.
All right. Half Spanish, half Italian,
Yes.
right? And you know that for 100% fact.
There's a couple of the Spanish, and there's a couple different sub-Spanish in that Spanish, but it's all Spanish.
What, like
heritage.
Chud?
No. So there's a couple of subcategories in that Spanish half.
Right.
So,
Okay.
the Spanish and Italian.
Would you be willing to
Yes.
get one of the
What? Sorry.
to Would you be willing to? What is that called? Where you send your blood work in and they actually tell you.
DNA in me or something like that.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't give a crap.
What if it came back and there was like Irish or anything like that in there?
Cool,
Something
awesome.
that you would no longer be. Oh, I'm half Spanish, half Italian. It's like, well, now you're three halves.
I'm half this, a quarter of this, and half this, and a quarter of this. But that quarter was the other thing you said before. Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant to say I'm half that as well. You're like 800% something. Mm-hmm.
Half Spanish, half Italian, and half Norwegian. It's like, that's three halves. I'm a big person.
I am 200 pounds. Yeah, no, I'll do it.
I wouldn't. But then, if you were Irish, then you couldn't use some of the terms you use.
As long, no.
Because then you go back and cancel yourself.
By all accounts of wokeism, I know I am half Spanish. I know I am Spanish,
right,
and Italian,
right.
I could have fucking Guyanese or Guatemalan or
no, it's Guyanese, yeah.
Guyanese. I could have Guyanese, fucking Guatemalan. I could have Dutch. I'm gonna start using me some Dutch slang.
What? That wouldn't. You wouldn't. Yeah. All right.
I'd still be able to use those terms because, in all accounts, according to wokeism, as long as you have that ethnicity in you, you can use those words.
Identify. Just identify. Because identifies that. Anywho, going back to your celebrating the 9/11. So that's what we're gonna say.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just one of those things that caught me off guard.
I actually introduced 9/11, what it is, to my daughter today. Because she asked why the flag, or there's, I drove by, Rodney was actually outside on the street, and he was taking the flags down. I was like, oh, Rodney's taking the flags down. She goes, flags for what? Or why the flags up? I go, well, how do I explain this to a 6-year-old? So I was like, well, so I just like, 20 I was like 20 some years ago, way before you were born, some terrorists I didn't say terrorists at first anyway, so I had to explain that. I was like, some people jacked a plane or a few planes and flew them into buildings. She goes, why? I'm like, that's a good question. I go,
well, you here, Mary. I like you're driving with your daughter and I had this cousin. Well, had this cousin
until Lloyd. Oh, good thinking. Can't be too careful.
No,
bad drivers.
Both of my dudes know. They know.
Well, I told her, I was like, when we get back to the house, I'll show you a video. And I don't know if it was Discovery Channel or CNN. One of those. They had like this. It's like 7 minutes long, but it's basically taking that entire day news-wise and condensing it into 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So like, the initial plane, like the one video with the firefighter at the, I don't know what, they were doing some kind of, I don't know if it was a seminar, it wasn't a seminar, it was a whole bunch of people, but instruction, something, they were in their gear and explaining something on the road, and you hear the screaming engine of the jet go by, and the camera pans up, and you see the first plane go into the building, and then, all panic, or all hell breaks loose. And then it goes forward. It's like, it shows a couple of news reports reporting on the first plane. And then it cuts to the second plane going in. It's like, as they're reporting on it, it's like, is that a second plane? I think that's another explosion. It's like, and then, you see more on the second plane. And then George Bush, him reading a book, to the kids and everything, and him being informed that was at the second plane when you see that happen. It's like the second plane hit the second tower, we're under attack. And then, it goes through more news news stations reporting on it, and then the one tower dropping, the other tower dropping, and then,
Yeah, the Pentagon, the field.
Yeah. And so we were watching that, and it's 22 years out. I wouldn't think so, but it's still fucking hard for me to watch that. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
it really is.
Like, she's sitting next to me watching. She watched the whole thing, too, and she looks at me, she goes, what's wrong? I go, girly. I go, hopefully you never have to experience anything like this in your lifetime. I go, but it was a rough day. It was a rough day for all Americans, and probably the last time America was truly united.
Yep.
Like, really united across the board. A lot of people thought COVID was going to do that for us, and that probably lasted about 10 fucking days. And then it just fucking divided us more than I think we've ever been divided, minus maybe the Civil War. And I can't even really truly say the Civil War if you really look at what the Civil War was, who fought it, and how expansive that was. Because in your history books, you hear Civil War, North versus South, but in actuality, most of the normies during the Civil War, they didn't fucking know what the hell's going on. One, no social media way back then. So, but it's not like today where anything happens, and especially
within
now.
an hour, the internet knows.
Yeah, especially now, because politics now is pop culture. Like, everyone's fucking talking about politics.
Yeah. But ain't half of them got a fucking clue what they're talking about.
And we don't even know.
Yeah, what are we doing here again? How did I even get here? I gotta go.
All right, see ya. Bye, everybody.
What the hell is this?
So yeah, I introduced. I don't know. It came with some bottles over there. But so I introduced her to the whole 9/11 thing and tried to explain it as best I could.
Topper Pride. It's a keychain.
Yes. I tried to explain it best I could to a 6-year-old. So she kind of gets the idea of what it was.
You like my pride? You stare at my pride. Don't look away from my pride. It's about.
Just gotta look him in the eyes. You know, I bet you if I touch his shoulder right
Fuck
now.
off. Keep your mullet touching fucking hands over there.
Oh! I shaved my head, so I can't do it now. Although it's growing back. Anyway.
Still tragic, though. Still tilted.
Yeah.
And you know what's sad? As Americans, we should consider ourselves lucky that we are the. And this is one of those things that should really bring us together.
As far as what?
Just as a country, as a whole. How many other worlds, unfortunately, deal with acts of terrorism almost on a daily?
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yes, we had, and by no means, hold on, please, by no means am I saying 9/11 wasn't that bad. It was a fucking tragic day.
Right.
Like you said, every year, I take my moment of silence, and it still fucking hurts.
Yeah, it's not even really the moment of silence and stuff. It's actually, and I'm like a fucking masochist. I do it every year, and I just rewatch shit from that day. I think really just kind of put me back there, I guess, as a reminder. Because every generation's got their thing, I guess. There was Pearl Harbor, and then 20 years later, JFK was assassinated, and then it was really 30 years after that, or almost 40 years after that, and then we had 9/11.
Yeah, it's tragic. It really is. And like I said, by no means am I trying to diminish the severity of the situation, but if that's one thing this country should kind of open its fucking eyes
Right.
and realize, there are countries out there that deal with acts of terrorism almost on the daily. And we should love thy neighbor, like the Bible says.
Right.
Take a little more pride in where you come from and what you do and what you earn. Help out your fucking fellow man.
But we talked about that before. Like, people don't even know their neighbors.
No.
Like, people just don't know their neighbors. That's why part of me was really hoping I was going to get that one house just up from you. Because it literally is like, that would have created a commune.
Yeah.
Of fucking everyone in that area. But, whatever.
Like Jeff Daniels said in that one bit, Greatest 3 Minutes Television, remember that video? Belgium has freedom. When you ask why we're the greatest fucking country in the world, I have no fucking idea. Yosemite?
Yeah.
We sure used to be. We aspired to greatness. We didn't diminish it. But still.
Well, yeah, I don't. Yeah, we don't even know our neighbors and shit, so I can't even.
And that's what I'm saying. Just be a little more grateful.
It's one of those things too, where everyone knew exactly. You can recall exactly where they were at that moment, and I remember back then, like days after it happened, all I heard was a lot of people saying, "This is going to be one of those events. This is this generation or our generation's JFK. Like, you'll know exactly where you were when that happened." And sure enough, 22 years later, I could tell you exactly where I was. I could tell you exactly where I was sitting, what I was working on in school when that happened.
Same here.
I don't remember what it was. No, I do.
All like the first thought that came to my mind was, shit, I have family there. And then the second thought that came to my mind was after it was real. Because if you remember, a lot of people were like, no, that's not true.
I don't even know.
There was a few people like, no, something like that couldn't happen.
I think it was more not believing it was real. It was more along the lines of just kind of not so much denying it, but just kind of in the what's
in awe of it.
Not awe,
shock.
But yeah, I guess shock. Because really, I mean, yeah, along the lines of that couldn't happen, but not in disbelief in the fact that didn't happen.
No,
more like, is this fucking really happening right now?
Yes.
Because I think that's the way I was. Yeah, I think I that's the way I was all during school that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really until I got home and my mother had the TV on and it was like a live feed and they were doing it. That's when it really hit me because now we didn't really see any TV or anything in school.
No.
We heard, I heard it from Howard Stern. Because we were in tech drawing class that day.
Yep.
And we always turned Howard Stern on as we were doing our houses and whatever. And it was during that bit, and that's when it happened. So I heard it live on Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
And so I heard it as it happened. And then I went throughout the day, and of course everyone, like, it spread like wildfire. So everyone was talking about it within minutes throughout the school. But even so, you're like, is this really a thing right now? Like, is this what we're talking about? And then I get home and I walk in and I watch it on TV. And I think when I actually could put an actual visual in my mind of what was going on, I was like, holy shit, like this is what's happening right now.
I remember I was in class and a teacher opened the door and the teacher motion for the teacher to come over, comes over, goes, classes, hold on. We're going to put everything on hold for a few minutes.
TV's not even on.
Oh no, the TV was on, but within seconds, teacher was like that, and it's like, and I was until I got home and sat down, and my brother-in-law, he's a retired Marine. He literally, like, you could see like there was something wrong, and I remember asking him, I'm like, "Yo, you good?" He goes, "If I didn't get hurt, I would be doing something about this right now."
Right.
And that's like the whole, like, even because he suffered a serious medical injury, blew both his knees out.
Right.
Like, needed surgeries to fix them. So at that point, when that happens, you're sorry, no good to the military.
Right.
And with all due respect. So when that happened, it was like I could see almost like a hurt in his eye.
Oh my God.
He wanted to do something but couldn't. He was like physically withheld from being able to do something. And I think that's what hurt him because in the Marines, that's what you're for. That's what they breed. They reprogram you. They train you to fight tooth and nail to the last breath to defend what this country stands for.
Like, for anyone that wasn't on duty during all that happening, whether it was on leave, well, if they're on leave, I'm sure they're all called back in, but
yeah.
For anyone that was honorably discharged or anything like that, retired even.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine what they were going through. Like, what was the thought in their head? Because I know when, like I said, when I got home and actually sank in, I don't know how long later it was that day. I vividly remember it still being during the day, but I remember breaking down in my room. And that's the first time I ever, like that amount of empathy. I was like, holy hell. And actually, like, looking back now, I always, for years, I tell people the reason why I joined the fire department. And it's like, I have no fucking idea. Like, just one day I went in, like, I'm going to join. And then I told you about it, and you joined.
Well, at that point, I already been on a fire department before, so
right.
I knew the gist of it.
But even
it sounds like a good time to get back into it.
But even so, like, I had no reason. But maybe something, at least part of it somewhere, was going all the way back to 2001. You know, years prior, maybe that was part of the reason why I joined. This is what, 13 years prior to that? I think, no, it would have been
13.
Whatever it was, 13, 14 years
13.
prior to that. That's the reason I joined.
I joined in 2014.
Right.
And it was 2001, so 13 years.
Yeah.
Yes. We literally joined like a month after 9/11. We joined
it was October.
14. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that might have been part of the reason why I joined. Somewhere, subconsciously.
That's the one true, and this might sound a little testosterone-driven, red-blood American, blah, 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 take your pick, whatever cliche you want to use.
That's aggressive. Did I tell you that story? That's another one. All right, that'll later.
So,
remind me.
I know when that happened, because with having my family in the city and directly involved in that, it was like, it was close to, it felt more close to, I was so far away from what happened, but I felt so close to what was going on.
Right.
You know, I was upstate New York. I was a few hours away.
Right.
But I felt like I could have walked out my door, walked down the block, and been right there to help my family. Of course, I know, I'm pretty sure a lot of kids where you were at, I'm joining up, going to defend my country.
Right.
That was my main spur for wanting to.
In retrospect, I wish I had.
Me too. That's that's probably my only regret in life. You know, they say never have regrets.
That's true.
That's one that I wish I had actually followed through with.
I think that's actually a really, for me anyway, and this is kind of side note, this is more like a motivational thing. That's the one thing, there's a book out where there's a woman goes and asks people on their deathbed basically like the top 5 regrets in their life, and like one of the big ones, I think the top one is the regrets of not doing something to that effect. Mm-hmm. And going with that, that's one that my one regret is I didn't join the service. Now granted, there's a lot of things that would have never happened. My daughter but when I joined the fire department and I saw the structure of, this is your job, this is what you do, you don't want to do it, there's a door. Nothing between you and it but air and opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I fucking adore that. I adore that structure. Because there's no bitching and complaining like you did at every fucking job. And everyone out there that's watching this knows what I'm talking about. There's always those people like, it's like, what the fuck you doing here?
I gotta
sign
work.
a paper to work here. This is the job at this job. Fucking do it. That's it. There's like, to me, it's like, there's nothing else. What are you bitching about? So that's the structure, and police and firefighting, EMS, it's all paramilitary, so that's like the operation they run. That's like one of the biggest reasons, like, damn, I wish I'd joined the service, but hindsight, you know.
Yeah. Oh, my life, yeah, night and day compared to then to now if we had done something like that.
Right. After 9/11. This is probably really, I mean, there were, right after, there were some questions that were raised. But it was years after, then there were some real discrepancies that started to come out. There was also some crazy things that started to come out, so I'll just get those out of the way right off the bat.
Yeah.
There's people that's like, well, it wasn't even planes that hit, it was CGI or something like that.
God.
There's some video I see where people are pointing out, like, videos of the second plane, I believe, going in and the wing like disappearing and then reappearing and going into the building. I was like, wow, you remember this is 2001. Digital technology was not what it is today.
It was just being like presented.
Yeah. Like if you watch news articles.
Because if you remember, it wasn't until a year or two later DSL came out.
Yeah.
DSL digital.
I think it was 2002 DSL came out.
Yeah, because until that point, you had fucking dial-up.
And now we're on.
And then you were on. And fucking pray to God nobody called your fucking house.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm supposed to be in this game. What the fuck?
It's not calling your house. It's if someone answers it.
Oh,
because then it just cuts your connection. Yeah. Kids.
No fucking clue.
But so people are saying, oh, the planes, there was really planes there that ran into the buildings. That didn't actually happen. And people, like the building 1 and 2 were controlled demolition and all sorts of things like that. Getting past all that, there were some real questions that happened prior and after that really fucking make you like scratch your head. Probably the biggest one, and Joe Rogan's brought this up too. And this one, I was like, wait a minute, hold the fuck on when I heard this. And I had to like look into it. I'm like, really? And sure enough, Secretary Donald Rumsfeld. I don't know if you ever heard about this one.
Yes.
Okay.
I know. Well, I know of him. Okay.
Monday, September 10th, holds a press conference. There is, where he says there is roughly by estimates, roughly $2.3 trillion missing of unaccounted transactions in the White House.
I did hear about this.
The government. The next day, 9/11 happens. Not so much the two buildings, it's a World Trade Center where trade goes on. But the big one was the Pentagon. The side of the Pentagon that got hit was the accounting side, that was working on the problem of finding the $2.3 trillion. The next day after that, it gets hit by a plane, evidently. Which there's questions about that one, too. That gets hit. All records demolished. That one. Now, maybe just pure coincidence. But, boy, that makes your head scratch. The reason why I say the whole plane hitting the Pentagon and evidently is, if you watch video testimony of survivors of the World Trade Center attack, a lot of them talk about the diesel fuel that was like the potent smell that was just fuel over the jet fuel that was over everything, and how potent the smell was. Survivors of the Pentagon had no recollection of any kind of jet fuel that was burned in order to, that was one. Two is the Pentagon is nowhere near as big of a building, as big of a target as the World Trade Center.
No, not nearly.
The evident path that the guy that hijacked that airliner, who apparently could barely handle a single engine plane, but then miraculously was able to fly a
twin turbo jet.
I think it was a 727?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know if it was a 737, but
a dual jet turbine.
They flew it in a corkscrew pattern back around, somehow got it ground level and flew directly in without somehow knocking down any of the lampposts or anything on the road that leads up to that side of the building, facing the building, into the Pentagon. No wreckage of any plane was found.
Yeah, I remember that.
No fuel. And this is coming from people that were working in there. Actually, one lady, they were interviewing her, said that she pushed a button to enter for the file work. She said she hit enter, and then all of a sudden, boom, an explosion. She thought she had triggered a bomb.
Imagine how bad that poor woman must have felt. I blew up my job! I've always wanted to, but not intentionally.
Yeah, I always thought about it, but she thought she triggered a bomb. Come to find out, it was a plane, evidently.
She triggered a plane to crash. That's good. Damn.
What?
Let's see if it works. Hey, triggered something.
And a lot of people were saying that it was an actual missile. I saw one, there was a security camera footage from years ago. I remember seeing this, it was basically a 2 or 3 frame thing. And they just, frame by frame, they'd play it. And there was nothing, this long thing that, it sure didn't look like a commercial airliner. But this long thing,
it was
like there was a hole, and the plane was coming down into it. It was like nothing, and then there, and then nothing, and then the explosion. It was like nothing, there, explosion.
So you're saying someone went into a hole and there was an explosion?
It was like something like I don't know. get serious on this.
Seriously, stupid. I remember hearing about that. The no plane wreckage.
Yeah. the no plane wreckage. That's one where I go, oh, wait a minute. As far as but
here's the thing though, dude. There's been so many conspiracy theories. Like, I don't know how true it is. I've never dug into the rabbit hole like that.
Right.
Because these are one of those things where it's like, we know what people may be capable of. Mm-hmm. But to think your own government it puts you in a whole nother level.
That's the thing.
So to sit there, sit there and think, because there's all kinds of conspiracy theories.
Right.
Don't want us getting banned for fucking misinformation when it's a conspiracy theory.
That's true, because TikTok has nothing on it.
I know.
It's all.
And I specifically spent as bad as it's going to sound, I've spent a solid hour on that app at one point today, waiting to see something. Not a fucking thing.
Nope.
Not a fucking thing.
You got to search outside of YouTube for that.
So, like I was saying, I don't know how true it is. Like I said, conspiracy theory. But apparently there was video footage floating around of where the first plane hits. Mm-hmm. And it's a slow-mo, step-by-step, and there's a timestamp on it. Because there was a description of it. Because at one point you couldn't find the video. I don't know if it exists anymore. But at one point so many people were trying to find this video. And the video would surface, then disappear. Surface, then disappear.
It was like that one with we talked about like a year and a half ago or something. That one, I think it was a school board meeting or something. Remember that video we were talking about, the parents at the school board meeting that were standing up to whatever material they were showing.
Oh yeah,
and it kept popping up, and then we'd show it, and then it'd be deleted. Yep. And they kept swiping.
So the video I'm talking about, because at one point there was like, sorry, we can't find the video, but for someone who has seen it, verbatim, the eyewitness, whatever, this is what the video entails, and there's like a step-by-step detailed layout of what happens in this video.
Right.
Screen, tower, plane, timestamp, slow-mo. By the seconds, it's about a fraction of a second before the plane even hits. Because they're saying it happened so fast, the amount of velocity that this plane was going at, that it sliced right through.
Yeah, it would have been 400 plus miles an hour.
That's why it went so quick through the building. That's why there was the misconception of the explosions before the plane hit.
Right.
But if you watch, according to this description of the video, like I said, I haven't dug into it. They're literally a fraction of a second before the plane actually makes contact. You see windows blowing out the other side. Now, conspiracy theory, YouTube, don't worry about it. This isn't what actually happened. This is some of the crazy shit that people have come up with that might not be true. So,
he definitely didn't just wink at me.
At least with my eyes.
Oh, winking or blinking?
I'm blinking with my beehole eye. Brown eye.
Hickey.
Wait, I have 2 brown eyes. 3, actually, if you want to get technical. So, I'm going to turn your brown eye blue in a minute if you keep talking. What?
Those brown people always winking at me.
So, of course, that raised the suspicion then about, was it an inside job?
Mm-hmm. That's what I was talking about before, is like there was a lot of conspiracies that would pop up about it being just like a controlled demolition. Like the planes were just kind of a patsy. And then going even further than that, like, the planes weren't even there. Like, well, I don't know about that one.
Well, the thing is, like, but then you stop and you look at, like, the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm. The Pentagon is the one head scratcher for me. I'm like, man, any footage that I've seen, I don't see a plane. And I mean, that's just people watching video after the fact.
Yeah.
Fine, you can dismiss that. But for eyewitnesses that were there in the building to be like, there was no wreckage. There's, like I
So-
said, the telling one was for me was the diesel fuel, because there was so, like I said, watching interviews with survivors up on the floor, the top floors when that plane or those planes hit, talking about verbatim the smell of diesel, and I go, wait a minute, and then I find a video where this lady was talking about she thought she had actually triggered some terrorist attack, but no, it was actually an external explosion when that bomb hit. And I got, mind you, Secretary Rumsfeld is actually out in the lawn when that hit the building. So, oh shit, time's it. Not that that would actually happen. I mean,
Yeah.
but and she says that there was no intense smell, because she was asked, like, what about, and she said no, there was none of that.
Yeah.
But, you know, at that time, it wasn't like that was a well-known thing. She was just like, no, there wasn't any smell of diesel or anything like that, or jet fuel. There wasn't anything, because that's a potent smell, evidently.
Yes, it is.
So that's a huge one. Added on to that, and this is one, probably to me, maybe in weight, not as big as the Rumsfeld 2.3 trillion missing,
Yeah.
but to me is just as significant to make you go, now hold the fuck on. Somehow, when the two planes hit the World Trade Center, miraculously, after all that jet fuel is in there, it's burning at such a hot temperature, such a high temperature, to where it somehow, I guess, melts steel and causes the buildings to pancake and collapse like over an hour later. And the giant fireball, and they both hit. After all that, somehow, the passports from the terrorists are found on the streets below in New York unscathed. So the steel girders and beams could not handle the temperatures, but whatever vibranium or adamantium steel that these passports were made out of survived not only the intense temperatures, but the 100+ story fall perfectly onto the streets, so we could find them and truly identify who it was. Like I said, it's not as big as the $1 trillion missing, but to me, like, when I heard that one, I'm like, wait a minute. Hold the fuck on. So these planes, 400+ miles an hour, in there, incinerate everything. Passports just flutter down like fucking leaves. What do you got?
Hold on.
But then, added on to that, are you looking up?
Trying to see like if
leaf.
that was legit.
The Leaf passports, the terrorist passports, they found them on the street. Let's see. 9/11 terrorist passports found on street. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I got a file. What are you doing to me? Pardon us here. Maybe if I remember this section right now, I'll just play some kind of like...
Okay, hold up a second. However, the passports and ID cards of the 9/11 hijackers found relatively unscathed.
Okay, according to the National Commission on Terrorist Attacks upon the United States, a public hearing held Monday, January 26, 2004, there were 4 passports found. 2 were recovered from the crash site of the United Airlines Flight 93 in Pennsylvania. These were the passports of Ziad Jarrah and Saeed El Ghamdi, who belonged to a hijacker, and American Airlines Flight 11. Gave NYPD World Trade Center tower collapse. 4th passport was covered in luggage. Oh, that didn't make it. The flight to Boston.
According to the National Commission on Terrorist Attacks upon the United States, public hearing held Monday, January 26, 2004, there were 4 passports found. 2 were recovered from the crash site of United Airlines Flight 93 in Pennsylvania. These are the passports of Zaid Jarrar
That's what I just...
and Saeed Al-Ghamdi. One belonged to a hijacker on American Airlines Flight 11, Satam Al-Sakami. A passerby picked it up and gave it to an NYPD detective shortly before the World Trade Center towers collapsed. A 4th passport was recovered from luggage that did not make it from a Portland flight to Boston onto the connecting flight, which was American Airlines Flight 11.
Right.
This is the passport of Abdul Aziz Al-Amari. So 3 passports were found to have survived the crashes out of a total of 19.
But how?
Hold on. Here's the passport of Zaid Dar on Flight 93. As can be seen, it is extensively damaged. That's a little charred up. Okay. Here's the passport of Satam al-Sakami, who was one of the terrorists on Flight 11. This is the one found on the street amongst the ejecta from the crash.
Oh, okay. Looks like an old book that you find in the attic.
And that's what the inside looks like.
Yeah.
So this is the one found on the street amongst the ejecta from the crash. And they were found moments before
The towers collapsed. Which I think was, 40-some minutes later or something to that effect?
Here is the passport of Saeed Al-Ghamdi, also a terrorist on Flight 93. As you can see, it is also not pristine. Also found was the boarding pass of terrorist Mahand al-Shari, who was on United 175. Now let me show you some of the things that were also found intact from the passenger jets. Debris from American Airlines Flight 77 collected at the scene following the attack on the Pentagon.
Oh, yeah?
Just a twisted up piece of metal. It says American Airlines, clear as day, no scratches. American Airline.
It's like someone cut it out with fucking tin shears, just bent it, and then threw it on the lawn. Like, oh, look!
An American Airlines inflatable life vest. A portion of the fuselage from UA Flight 175.
This is like the shit they pull out of the ocean when they were looking for JFK Jr.
AA slipper and clothing. Found a slipper. That's a window, I think.
It is.
There's some seatbelts with... That's not a fucking airplane seatbelt. That's like a fucking seatbelt from a fucking 1928 coupe. That's a lap belt. Flight 93 attendant Lorraine Bay's logbook. That looks pretty untouched. Flight recorder. Do not open. Oops, somebody broke the rules. I think it's missing the top.
Ah.
That was the cockpit voice recorder of Flight 93. A portion of the U.S. mail carton was recovered from the debris of United Airlines Flight 93. Page 1 of the last night document recovered at Flight 93 crash site. Plane engine parts, Flight 175. Passenger remains, plane seats, and personal items from Flight 11.
You know what for sure was destroyed, though?
What?
Right before the attacks, the FCC destroyed documents they had on insider trading, dealing with, or at the World Trade Center. For whatever reason.
Oh, Jesus.
But there again, I don't know. apparently our government's destroyed documents for a while and still are. We didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. You know, the $1 trillion transactions are missing. The Trump records from January 6th were missing or have been deleted.
I didn't know. One other thing that was kind of a question was the Building 7 collapsing.
Oh, the one that reported across the globe.
BBC.
Yeah,
BBC.
It went down, and it's in the video. And there was a lag.
BBC
Like
reported,
a 7-hour lag.
It was 27 minutes before it fell. BBC reported that Building 7 had collapsed. And then they say, well, we got caught up in the emotion of the day, and we just reported the wrong building. Like,
Yeah.
Apparently, the story is, or the official report is, that the tunnels below the streets that had connected all the buildings and whatnot, there was fires from the 2 main towers that had caught and just went over to Building 7, and that got so hot it melted the structure. And so I'm just telling you exactly.
Like, even Gilda has this guy's face like, I'm just telling you, you gotta believe me, I'm telling you the truth.
Listen.
Just staring at
And
him.
that's what. There again, though, there were multiple firefighters claimed to have heard or see secondary explosions in Building 1 and 2 before the collapse.
Yeah.
They had videos on those testimonies.
Yep.
And the same thing with Building 7. That's where all the stories come from of the controlled demolition, the free fall. Like, it was just... And it really does look like...
One of the things I remember seeing, now this one I...
Doesn't mean that's what I think it was. It's just... You have eyes.
This is one thing I remember seeing, and I can do some research and do some digging, see if I can find it again. They showed you like pictures of like some of the columns, these steel girders that were used in these buildings.
I mean, yeah.
Inside the towers, after everything happened.
Yeah, it was like 4 main structural tower girders in the inside that ran top to bottom.
Yeah.
And then it was built around them.
And apparently, well, I don't know if it was one of the major ones. There might have been one of the minor ones. There was certain girders, secondary or the whatever, reinforcement girders or whatever, that looked like they were precision cut.
Oh, yeah. Like by an actual torch.
Yeah.
I did see that. Yeah.
And I remember one of the questions being was, if a plane crashes into you at 400 plus miles per hour, are you going to look like you were cut with a blowtorch, or are you going to be crushed and bent over?
Yeah. Well, I think my rebuttal is if a plane flies into me at 400 plus miles
I'm turning
an hour,
into mist.
Yeah. Because if a deer turns into mist by a semi at 80 miles an hour on the thruway, I'm pretty fucking certain that little old me is not going to be... You remember the submarine that went down in June?
You mean the Xbox controller piloted $1 billion home project? Yeah, sure.
You remember when it imploded and all the animations you see is like they didn't feel anything? I'm pretty sure that's fucking what would happen to me if I got hit by the 737.
I'm pretty sure they didn't have time to feel anything.
In fact, I don't even think it would be a mist. I would just disappear and probably a black hole would because it would be so fast and so hot that my mist would evaporate.
This 747 turned my butthole into a black hole.
Yeah. And
where'd the whole plane go? I don't want to talk about it. Why are you walking funny? I don't want to talk about it.
It was a terrorist attack.
Someone terrorized my colon.
Yeah, so I don't know about beams being... Yeah, I don't think there'd be beams that would be clean cut like that.
Yeah.
It's not like a fucking knife through butter.
No.
Yeah. I like those infomercials that were at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to sell ninja swords to suckers like us.
We still
Look,
bought them.
you can cut pineapples. Ah! Sweet. Damn it. I bought one. Yeah. College us. Like, fuck, I'm going to buy 2 of them.
Oh, this is food.
Thanks, buddy. I'm not going to explain that one.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
So what came out of all this?
probably a good 3 to 5 years of this country realizing it stood for something, and people putting some backbone to their words.
That the civilians, yes. But what I'm talking about is the government. That was probably the last time. At the same time, the civilians was like the last time we were truly unified. At the same time, that was probably the last time we really had just open freedom. Like, no surveillance state, because the TSA was formed right after that.
Yep.
So, random bag check. And then after that was the Patriot Act. So they could wiretap, they could claim emails to algorithmic.
Well, some emails, some you can't. They get deleted and it's okay.
Only 33,000 of them. So there's a lot of us out there. 33,000 is not a bad number. I mean, unless one person hoarded all 33,000 deleted emails. But that's fucking crazy, am I right?
It's hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Of anyone to cling on to that sort of a concept.
That's right.
I'm going to end up dead. I know it. I'm banging your daughter before I die.
Oh, horse face. But yeah, then what the Patriot Act led to after that was really the Patriot Act Mark II, which was the Restrict Act, which we just had, and that was due to COVID. But really, that opened the door, or that door was open because of the precursor, which now, I mean, their algorithm is anything you say that they don't like, they'll take down. And they pressure all these private companies to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been a victim of it. I don't know how many times. Well, actually, only once on YouTube. YouTube, for the most part,
TikTok
has been fair. TikTok fucking hates me. Hates me.
I know it does.
They kill my algorithm. I'll finally get it back, and like views will skyrocket, and then we'll fucking say something inevitably, and then it just goes right back down. It's like getting grounded for 2 weeks and opening the door and be like, fuckers, back in there. Damn it.
Well, might as well say something that's going to get this one banned.
That'll be the clip. Just, there's no context. What is this?
You nitpicking motherfuckers.
You know what'll happen?
What?
I'll put this, because this has fucking happened before. It's not even hyperbolic. I'll put that video up. And what'll happen is TikTok will give me a strike for a copyright. It's happened 2 or 3 times. Twice, I know for sure. We've uploaded a video where we're just talking about shit. And I'll go on, I'll upload a clip. I'm like, that's a good one to take. I'll upload the clip. Like, a few hours later, I'll go back on just to check, make sure it, like, uploaded successfully. And it'll have a community guideline violation over the video. I'm like, what the fuck? So I click on it, and I look, and it says it's a copyright violation. I'm like, copyright for what? Someone claimed the copyright. I'm like, who the fucking claimed copyright on me fucking talking? Doesn't fucking make sense. And I appeal it. And I write out, as like, listen, we commentate. We don't even report. We're not journalists.
No.
We commentate on shit going on in the world. News, socials, video, like whatever the fuck we talk about.
Video games, sports, murdering pedophiles.
Talk about this shit. And it's our own, it's ad-lib.
Oh, 100%. Don't think for one fucking second. Hold on. Don't think for one second. You can't write for shit, dude. Don't think for one fucking second that this isn't all ad-libbed. None of this is scripted. You wrote scripted twice.
Why do I write it so small? I can't see. Anyway.
Back to the ad-libbing.
Yeah, it's all ad-lib. How the fuck can someone claim my fucking thoughts? Elon, fuck me. I just answered my own question.
You just told Elon to fuck you?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'll pay to
It's a
watch.
completely different thought.
I'll pay to watch.
Why, did that come out? Damn it. So did I guess.
I'm coming out.
Oh, God.
I want the world to know Elon's in my hole.
But yeah, so the Patriot Act comes out, and everyone was screaming to the Republicans back then. Again, this is what I said, like the Republicans, Democrats completely switched spots over the last 20 years. The Republicans, because they're the ones like, we need more censorship, we need to be able to like monitor this shit, and blah, 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 blah. And this is why a lot of people going back to 9/11 think that 9/11 was a patsy to introduce all this shit, all this like close.
So the conspiracy theory you're saying that is out there is some people have theorized that 9/11 was a ticket, a punch ticket to being able to get all these new policies going.
It was a false flag. That's what a lot of conspiracy theorists say. If I was to write the perfect, well, I don't know about perfect, but my idea of the perfect conspiracy to kind of tie all these together, 9/11 did truly happen from Al-Qaeda, a terrorist organization.
And they seized the opportunity to do something with it.
The United States had the opportunity to stop it. Because that's another glaring question to me is like, how do we, like, this national superpower with plenty of resources to stop things like this from happening, information, especially now, but even back then, information to know whether or know better, not allow, like, just not let this happen. Like, how does that happen? But given the benefit of the doubt, human error, fine. But the perfect conspiracy to me is Al-Qaeda did it. We knew that it was going to happen and allowed it to happen. To, one, destroy these records of the $2 trillion.
$2.3 trillion.
And two, usher in this whole, well, we're going to just spy on everybody. Is it kind of sick to think that our government would allow that to happen? Of course it is. But
I think
if I was going to write something out like that, I was like, well, there you go. That way it covers, like, it was real, it actually happened, but it was more to it than...
If I had to write a conspiracy theory out, I'm thinking this along in my head. I'm thinking this along in my head right now.
That's not what I think, but that was in my thought process. I'm like, how would I put all that together?
If I had to put a conspiracy theory together right now, like you just did, if I had to come up with one, it would be along the lines of 9/11 happened.
Mm-hmm.
We knew about it happening, but we didn't know the severity of it. And then when we realized what effect the severity of it could have, they took advantage of it and... Look, this is in place to prevent this from ever happening.
Right.
And then on top of that, aliens don't exist. I don't know. It's hard to think.
It was aliens. The whole thing was
and maybe
aliens.
maybe I'm in denial. I'm sure there's some people out there that would love to fucking tear me apart for what I'm about to say. Do I think our government is capable of doing something like that? I think any person in power in any country, foreign or domestic, is capable of doing what they feel is necessary.
Oh, absolutely.
But do I think that's something our government would do? No.
Yeah, that's the question. So
I personally don't.
I can't answer the same way you did. I would hope.
Yeah, you know what? I want to retract my statement. I want to redact my previous statement.
All right.
And I want to put in a new one. I agree with you 100%. I would hope that our government has never and will never do something like that.
Right. I mean, enough.
Because pray the day never comes. Like someday, I'm sure one of these crazy fucking conspiracy theories are 100% true. Let's just shoot for the stars here.
I mean, there's been enough that have already, not even 9/11, but I mean enough and that have already been, due to the Freedom of Information Act, documents that have come out that have proven things like the Tuskegee experiments and everything else, where they're purposely injecting people with fucking diseases and shit. Like
what I'm saying is, like, some of these really crazy ones.
The Operation Northwoods.
JFK assassination, pyramids built by aliens, President Biden touching
Aware.
kids. Aware, yeah. Whatever. What I'm saying is, pray the day never comes where one of these actually come out 100% in the open.
Yeah.
Where it's, here it is, as black and white as day. Here's the body cam footage from the guy sitting next to JFK that really put the gun up to his head and pulled the trigger. Here's all the evidence. It was 100% a government inside job. We had to get him out of power. Pray that fucking day never comes, because when that happens, watch the fucking system fall.
You know why? They had the opportunity. Trump and Biden had the opportunity to release all those documents, and they both denied. They both shot it down. Which all that does is make everybody else go, why? Like, what the fuck? What?
One of two things. Why would you never release it? One of two things. One, it's so fucked up that the truth is this, or we did it, or whatever. Or the truth is so fucking destruction, so detrimental. It's either so bad in one of two lights. So bad on us because something we did, or something this government played a part in. Mm-hmm. And if the American public, John Q. public, found out, they would topple over the government. Mm-hmm. Or another dark light is it involves somebody else, where if they found out what was behind the reasoning, you would have like a Holocaust on your hands again.
Where'd you get to that one?
So let's say we'll keep using JFK.
All right.
Let's say the truth comes out one day and our government killed JFK because he had thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of video.
Oh, are you talking about like the government just going full bore in that direction and be like, this is what we're doing?
No, hold on. It's going to be, so let's say the government, it comes out, the government killed JFK because he had thousands upon thousands of hours of political officials having sex with children.
Right.
Well, the government's kept it hidden for so long. If John Q. Public found that out right now, what do you think would happen? Our government would collapse because we would fucking take it over. Fuck that. The government admits to all these records of pedophilia when if they would shake the government and the fucking American people, the American people would overthrow it.
They don't even have to admit it because it's already fucking public record. How many?
But what I'm saying is,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
There goes our government.
Right.
Tyrannical government. What is the Second Amendment for? To rise up and take arms against a tyrannical government.
Right.
Government. There goes the government. Or let's say Egypt had proof that JFK was keeping an alien or something like that, and Egyptians or something that he's experimenting, whatever, and that's why the Egyptian killed him.
He's experimenting.
And you find out till today that shit's still going on. Do you mean to tell me there's not going to be like another fucking Japanese concentration camps again?
Boy, that's a hell of a stretch, but I see what you're saying.
I went that outlandish for that reason.
Wow.
It's going to be so fucking crazy one way that's going to fuck up our history,
right.
Or it's going to be so crazy the other way that it's going to cause some motherfuckers to do some stupid shit in this world.
Right. I don't know.
That's what it makes me think of when they
As
say,
far as
no,
9/11.
we're not giving you that shit.
Yeah. But
No, I meant anything.
Well, that was because I brought up JFK and that whole thing. But as far as 9/11, if going back to what we said before, like whether or not they would be capable of doing it, capable, yes. I hope they wouldn't.
Yeah, 100% agree with you.
Like I said, there's already things that have come out in past events. I mean, further back than 9/11,
Yeah,
where it was true, and it's like, wow, our government is capable of doing these things. And the argument I hear a lot is like, yeah, but that was people that lived and died 50, 70 years ago. And my rebuttal is, do you think that just those intentions died with those people? Like, you don't think it's like, oh, those bad guys died. I mean, there's only good guys in the world now. We're okay. Al-Qaeda doesn't count. ISIS doesn't count. Somalia doesn't count. Clintons don't count. Obama doesn't count. Republicans and Democrats don't count. Andre the Giant doesn't count. Like, bad
Chris
guys
Benoit?
Well,
he counts.
Yeah, he counts. What an asshole.
Nah,
but like the bad intentions don't fucking die with certain people.
No.
It's just someone else does it. Well, this guy might have been onto something. I'm gonna go about and see what he was talking about.
well, look at it this way. Organized crime, gangs, fucking cartels. You mean to tell me, they talk about like MS-13, we use that example. They talk about how like for every 10 MS-13 gang members that they arrest, like the gang indoctrinates 100 more. It's like a 10-to-1 ratio.
I wouldn't be surprised
For every-
if that wasn't even an exaggeration.
I'm pretty sure I've read an article about this. I don't know if I have the numbers on the money, but I'm pretty
Close
sure
enough.
it's like 10-to-1 because they know, you got the one guy who didn't have the backbone to do it, but we were able to take in 10 more that would.
Right. And I don't know how many. I mean, that really goes with any crimes. Like, oh, we caught this guy. It's like, well, how many didn't you catch? And then they talk about it with drugs, fentanyl and shit being pumped over our border.
Yep.
It's like we get about 13 a day, or whatever the number is, that come across the border. We're able to arrest 13 or 20 a day. Okay, well, how many didn't you get?
Yeah.
Like,
How many?
I'm sure I'm sure the fucking scale is not quite even there.
No, look at it this way. Look at it this way. We'll go back to the Sound of Freedom. The pedophile industry.
Right.
$150 million business?
Million.
Huh?
Billion.
$150 billion. $150 billion.
What? Wow.
$150 billion industry.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that the number of pedophiles that we are taking off the streets every day is enough, and we have yet to, and America is the number one consumer of it? You mean to tell me that we are catching enough to make the difference,
Right.
but it's a $150 billion a year industry?
Right.
No.
And like you said, how the hell do they track that? Well, because
They can track the fucking... Oh my God,
400
don't get me started on this, please.
470 fucking elites, we'll say, politicians, everything else in California, they get nabbed for that 10 years ago. How much do you spend on it? Well, I write it my taxes. It's charity work. They can...
I
No, but-
buy kitty porn and write it off as a tax
cheese pizza,
credit.
remember? They
Oh,
call it
sorry.
cheese pizza. That's one of the fucking terms. Walnuts, cheese pizza, hot dogs,
Ice cream cones.
ice cream. Yeah. Yeah. So there's all the fucking terms that they use. Anyway, I'm going to have a Biden moment here and just talk about something else.
Oh, yeah, because we only got a little bit left.
So, did you hear, before I get into this, you hear New Mexico, what they did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally abolished the Second Amendment.
So there's some nuances there, but the
trying.
governor made it illegal to carry firearms in public, even though
Conceal or
they're a
open.
constitutional carry state.
Yeah.
But you can't have it in public, which pseudo gets rid of the Second Amendment, sort of.
That's fucked up.
That like, it's not even being hyperbolic. But like that's a start right there. Going back to like the Patriot Act, I said way back then, it's like, man, this is you do the Patriot Act and Republicans just come back and bite you in the ass. Like this is the start of the whole fucking the censorship thing and the tapping and 20 years later, what's happening? It's all everything that the Republicans brought in, it's being used against them now.
Yeah.
Going with this getting rid of this public whatever, it's like, man, they're gonna do this and it's just gonna snowball.
Give me an inch, I'll take a mile. Give him an inch, I'll take a mile.
Give them an inch, they'll take a millennia. But seriously, I don't know. I don't know. Owen Schroyer is under attack
Yep.
for
I heard
his
about that.
speech for January 6th, which there's people that want to give him like I think it was 120 days or something like that in prison
Yeah.
for speaking, which they had like InfoWars had a permit to speak on that day.
Yep.
So he wasn't like he didn't go into the Capitol. He was speaking, and they want him charged. Who's it? Enrique Tarrio. He got sentenced to 22 years for supporting January 6th, for supporting Proud Boys by text. He got 22 years in fucking prison for supporting, he wasn't there, the Proud Boys via text. That's fucking dangerous. Like, it has nothing to fucking do with your political stripe or anything like that. If the government can come and because you said something, which we talked about this before, because you fucking said something that they didn't like, said it, or text it in this situation, you can get charged. Not only charged, but charged for fucking 2 decades.
I don't condone racism by any means, but by saying, if anybody out there right now says, oh, well, that guy does deserve 22 years, then if I was to sit here on record and say, I support Antifa,
right,
and then 20 years from now, Antifa does the next big travesty terrorist event attack, I should go to jail for 22 years.
It's true. It's true. But, you know, funny you bring up Antifa. As a comparison, there was a, during the Summer of Love, those riots, there was an Antifa member, black man, who aided, for lack of a better term, in, one, getting involved with police confrontation, but two, a Molotov cocktail was thrown at a storefront, burning the store to the ground and killing the owner who was inside. He got 10 years. So texting support for something gets 22 years. Actively involved
And murdering
violent
somebody.
and destruction of property, much less than actually murdering somebody, 10 years. Please make that fucking make sense.
Yeah, Well,
But
he really wasn't going to throw it, and it wasn't real flame, it was CGI.
And you know what's fucking bonkers too? This is coming down from the same DOJ, the same government that actively is sending billions of dollars to a country
That
who
promotes slavery.
not just harbors neo-Nazis, but is fucking run by neo-Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking run by 'em.
Folks at home
But
who
we
think
are-
sit there and think, oh, Ukraine, support for Ukraine. You are supporting a neo-Nazi ran country.
and they're allowed to walk free. Like, make that make sense, please. Like, it's like, oh, we don't like racism, we don't like bigotry, we don't like any kind of hate anything.
In America. Everywhere else, we support it.
It's fucking true. Like,
Fucking idiots.
yeah, yeah. So that one, I saw that with Owen Schroyer, and then I heard about the Enrique Tarrio, and I'm like, what? Wait a fucking minute. And then I started to look up. There's fucking countless fucking people that got arrested during the Summer of Love riots that either were charged like this guy and got less. And, oh, not to mention the guy that got 10 years. He was also, the Biden administration was trying to lessen his charge. Mostly peaceful.
Speaking of mostly peaceful, a lot of these fuckers were probably the ones that, they were probably the vaccine supporters.
Mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful people. Come on, get the vaccine. It's okay. It'll help you. It'll make you safe.
I guess now the CDC says that boosted and infected people are at higher risk of getting the new COVID, which, like, I said this kind of sort of tongue-in-cheek, but half serious too. I'm like, well, I'll just hurry up and go get this new fucking variant. Be done with it. Have my immunities kicked up. Be good to go. And that'll be, what, the 4th time I've had it. Well, 3rd time, but 4 probably.
I remember my first boner.
And then a girl dies from a rare virus due to the mosquito bite.
What's that about? And there's 3 hot takes. Care to explain?
Oh, yeah, wait. So
what's this super rare virus this chick dies
I
from?
guess it was malaria.
Oh, that's not super rare.
And, well,
Herpemalaria.
and immediately when it happened, the media goes right out and says, It's not because there's a whole. It's not even really. It's not even a conspiracy. It's fucking true. Bill Gates wanted to inject or genetically alter mosquitoes to carry vaccines. Vaccines, not the vaccine. Just so we're clear. Not that it would just be harbored around one specific kind of. Anyway. So that's out in public eye. And immediately the media went, oh, it wasn't like a COVID thing or anything like that. It had nothing to do with it. The mosquitoes weren't carrying anything that the girl shouldn't have had. It was malaria. So it was malaria. Right?
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right. We swear, we had nothing to do with this one.
That's basically what happened. Wait a minute. Wait, it's just a fluke. The next one is...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like herp or malaria, mosquito bitter, and then zzz, you should get checked. Zzz.
Sorry.
Where'd it go?
I'll call you.
Really? Zzz, no. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
After I had you inside me.
I'm used to
that. Fuck you.
Oh, jeez. Liberty Safe's compromised. It's a gun safe. This whole thing came about for January 6th. I guess the government asked this one person had a Liberty safe, and the government asked, they had documents or something to that effect inside the safe, and the government asked Liberty Safe to give them the access code to get into the safe, and Liberty Safe, I guess, has a kill-all code to get in, basically a backdoor code that gets in any of their safes. Yeah,
There's a code to get in the back door?
Yeah, you just have to ask Liberty Safe.
I need that code.
If you have a Liberty Safe, you're compromised.
Your back door is, at least. Getting stupid. We're doing butt stuff.
Holy shit.
Like, you ever expected to have a serious one? Come on.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, we get serious and stupid, right?
You fucking line them up right there. Come on, dude.
Right.
Seriously stupid.
And there's a green comet passing by the Earth tomorrow.
Really?
Or what would be today by the time this is up.
When?
Once every 400 years. Tomorrow. Today. Today, tomorrow. Right now, for them, today. Or yesterday. Or
This has
sometime in
already
the past.
happened.
Yes.
This is what's going to happen soon. When do we get to now? I want to know what's going on now. We can't miss. We can't see what's going on. We already missed it. When? Just now. Dang. Fucking like, seriously?
What
Today is 9/11. So on 9/12, when you watch this, i.e. today, or yes, fuck this. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Fuck this. Fuck you. I almost
We're
confused
at
myself
now
with that
now.
shit.
Go back to then. When? Now? Now? Yeah, why? We missed it. When? Just now. When will then be now? Soon.
That fucking makes more sense. Speaking of making sense in funny movies,
Yep.
The Labyrinth.
What about it?
You remember the red and the blue door?
Right.
Do you remember what they say? You can't ask one of us. You can't ask both of us. You can only ask one of us.
Right.
And I must tell you, one of us always tells the truth, and one of us always lies.
I can tell you that I used to understand the answer, and
I get it.
I forgot over time.
She says to the red door, so if I ask him if this door will lead to the center labyrinth, will he say yes?
No, as if I ask him if you would tell me.
No. Hold on. Fuck it. We're going to settle this right now. We're doing one of this.
All right.
Got it.
Right. As far as, while you look that up, as far as the three hot takes, it's three hot takes, your opinion of something that everyone else or most other people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Three hot takes or hot cakes.
The rules are clear. There are two doors. One leads to the castle, the other to certain death.
Right.
You may ask one question to one guard to help you decide. Oh, okay.
Is this from the novel?
No, hold on. Quote, there we go.
All right.
Okay, there we go. Well, the only way out of here is to try one of these doors. One of them leads to the castle at the center of the labyrinth, and the other leads to boom, 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 certain death. Well, which one is which? We can't tell you. Why not? We don't know, but they do. Remember that part?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then I'll ask them. No, you can't ask us. You can only ask one of us. It's in the rules. And I should warn you that one of us always tells the truth, and the other one of us always lies. That's a rule too. He always lies. I do not. I tell the truth. Oh, what a lie.
Yeah.
All right. Answer yes or no. Would he, pointing at the one door, the blue door, tell me that this door, pointing to the red door, leads to the castle? Yes. Then the other door leads to the castle, and this door leads to certain death. How do you know? He could be telling the truth, but then you wouldn't be. So if you told me that he said yes, then I know the answer is no. But I could be telling the truth, but then he would be lying. So if you told me that he said yes, I know the answer would still be no. Wait a minute, is that right? I don't know. I never understood it. So basically, when she asked the red door if the blue door would tell her that the red door leads to the center of the labyrinth.
I'm going to do one of those TikTok things without the split screen. Go ahead, explain.
He goes,
If I was
yes.
underneath.
And he goes, she goes, okay, so that door leads to the center of the labyrinth, and this door leads to certain death, whatever. Well, and she says, how do you know? Because basically what she said, what the red guy says is if the blue guy says is telling the truth, then the red door leads to the center of the labyrinth because he just told the truth.
Right.
So if he's lying, though, so if the red guy's telling the truth, that means the blue guy is lying. He would say that just to trick her out of going into that door.
Right.
But the red guy's telling, if the red guy's telling lying, then the blue door. Fuck this! I'm not explaining it. I'm done.
Wait, it has to be your ass.
I get it. I get it when I watch the movie. I'm like, this makes sense. And then it's fucking gone as soon as I try to explain it to somebody.
See, like I said, I used to understand it, and then over time, I think I forgot. I think it's one of those things like when you're a kid, your child brain is like, yeah, I get it, and then you get older and you're like, I don't
Well, no,
get it
'cause
now.
when I'm
Like,
sitting
could you
there-
sit down and play with action figures right now?
Yes.
Me too. All right, so we're still kids. Why don't we understand it then? Doesn't
I get
fucking
it.
make sense.
No, I get it when I watch
When
it.
you just explained it to me, you just fucking explained
It
nothing.
doesn't make sense to me when I try to explain it. Right there, you fucker. It doesn't make sense. I can't explain it. But in my head, the logic makes sense.
I don't know. It's never made sense to me. Bye.
Fuck you.